God removed them from your life because He heard conversations you did not. That is the truth you keep running from. The truth you keep trying to soften. The truth you keep trying to negotiate with your memories. But the moment you stop sugarcoating what happened, the moment you stop rewriting the story to protect people who never protected you, you will finally see why the separation had to be violent, sudden, and necessary. You think you lost someone important, but what you really lost was the illusion you built around them. This is the hook your heart refused to accept. When God closes a door, it is not rejection, it is rescue. Your wound did not start when they left. It started long before that, in the small moments when they pretended not to notice your loyalty, your effort, your patience. You kept showing up even when they acted like your presence was disposable. You kept giving even when they treated your generosity like something they were entitled to. They never said thank you. They never offered respect. They never met your heart with equal fire. They took pieces of you like it was their right. They walked in and out of your life as if the door was automatic. They wore masks so convincing that even your intuition hesitated. And every time you ignored that hesitation, you empowered the very people who were draining the life out of you. The betrayal was not always loud. Sometimes it was the silence, the lack of effort, the subtle distance. Sometimes it was that strange feeling in your chest after talking to them, the feeling that something was off. But you did not want to believe it. You justified it. You defended them. You made excuses for their coldness, for their selfishness, for their inconsistency. You taught yourself to accept crumbs while offering them a full table. And the painful part is that you thought they would eventually appreciate you. You thought your love would change them. You thought your loyalty would make them loyal too. But instead they abandoned you. Instead they disrespected you. Instead they manipulated the softness in your spirit. You trusted them with your heart, and they treated it like a disposable object. You gave them access to your peace, and they polluted it with their chaos. You let them into your sacred space, and they left fingerprints of betrayal on the walls of your soul. You told yourself that losing them meant you were lacking. You told yourself that their absence was a judgment against your worth. But that voice in your head was lying. You are not broken. You are not weak. They did not destroy you. They awakened you. What you felt was not the end of your story. It was the beginning of your revelation. The truth flip comes when you finally understand that their exit was not a punishment. It was protection. God heard the things they said when you were not around. God saw the intentions they hid behind fake smiles. God witnessed the envy in their hearts, the jealousy they masked as jokes, the resentment they buried under shallow praise. You were blind because you were loyal. They were exposed because God is not blind. Their removal was a divine intervention. You begged for peace, and God delivered it by removing the unworthy. You prayed for clarity, and God answered by ending the connection. You asked for strength, and God built it by burning away the weak attachments. Pain became your purification, a fire that did not kill you but refined you. This pain is not punishment. It is preparation. The storm you went through was the forge that shaped you. The pressure you felt was the weight that created your inner diamond. The fire you endured was the heat that purified your spirit. You were never meant to stay the same. You were meant to evolve. But evolution requires separation. Transformation demands isolation. Growth requires losing what cannot grow with you. Now you must establish new rules for your life. Stop chasing people who walked away as if you were nothing. Stop explaining yourself to those who never deserved access to your truth. Stop breaking yourself open for people who never brought anything when you gave them everything. Your silence is not weakness. Your distance is not hostility. Your boundaries are not cruelty. They are survival. They are self-respect. They are the evidence that you finally understand your value. You are entering a new identity, a wiser identity, a stronger identity, a version of yourself that sees through masks, that feels energy, that honors intuition. You are not the same person who tolerated disrespect in the name of loyalty. You are not the same person who tolerated disrespect in the name of loyalty. You are not the same person who ignored the red flags because of history. You are not the same person who begged for love from people who were incapable of giving it. You have become unbreakable. You have become chosen. You have become reborn through the ashes of what you survived. Your comeback will not be loud. It will be undeniable. You will rise with discipline. You will rise with self-respect. You will rise with a fire that cannot be extinguished. You will rise with clarity, purpose, and God's timing on your side. And when they see you again, they will not recognize you. Your growth will expose their immaturity. Your elevation will reveal their insecurities. Your destiny will silence their doubts. And the irony is that the same people who underestimated you will witness the prophecy they tried to bury unfold in front of them. You did not lose them. You lost the weight that was holding you down. You lost the distraction that was blocking your blessings. You lost the noise that was drowning your intuition. What you gained was far greater: peace, clarity, strength, and a future that no betrayal can touch. This is your rise. This is your resurrection. This is your transformation, forged in fire and sealed by purpose. There comes a moment when you finally recognize that what left your life was not a loss, but a revelation. What shattered your heart was not a curse, but a cleanse. What broke your expectations was not an attack on your value, but a divine correction steering you away from people who never deserved to walk beside you. God removed them from your life because He heard conversations you did not. And until you understand the weight of that truth, you will keep trying to resurrect connections that were designed to die for your protection. You kept replaying the wound, trying to understand why they treated you the way they did. You kept asking what was wrong with you, instead of asking what was wrong with the environment you kept forcing yourself into. The wound they created was not just in your heart. It was in your spirit, your confidence, your identity. It was the slow erosion of self-worth. Every time you forgave what was unforgivable, accepted what was unacceptable, and tolerated what was intolerable, you underestimated how deeply their presence infected your peace. You did not realize how much weight you were carrying until the moment God cut the rope. Their betrayal was not always loud, but it was consistent. It showed up in their lack of support, the way they let you carry everything while they contributed nothing. It showed up in the way they ignored your effort, minimized your dreams, mocked your sensitivity, and treated your loyalty like a convenience store they could walk into whenever they felt lonely. They disrespected your time, your energy, your heart, and you kept hoping they would change. But people who benefit from your blindness will never hand you clarity. They keep you confused, because clarity would free you. The internal damage was deeper than you ever admitted. You felt shame for caring so much. You felt guilt for giving them another chance. You felt heartbreak because you trusted them with the version of you that you never showed anyone else. You felt confusion because the person you thought they were did not match the person their actions revealed. You felt stupid for ignoring every red flag, every warning sign, every intuition that whispered, "This is not your person." And the cruelest part is that you blamed yourself for their lack of character. You blamed your softness instead of their selfishness. You are not broken. You are not weak. They did not destroy you, they awakened you. And this awakening is the truth flip that changes your entire story. The real meaning behind your suffering was not rejection, it was release. God was pulling you out of a place that was poisoning your future. God was removing people who were speaking against you behind your back. People who were jealous of your growth. People who were secretly hoping you would fail so that they could feel superior. God saw the conversations you never heard, the intentions you never sensed, the betrayal you never witnessed. You prayed for protection, and this separation was the answer. This is the divine reveal. God heard the envy in their voice when they spoke about you. God heard the mocking tone when they described your dreams. God heard the hatred hidden under their fake compliments. God heard the resentment they concealed with forced smiles. And God decided that enough was enough. Their removal was not abandonment. It was salvation. Their absence was not emptiness. It was your protection arriving disguised as heartbreak. Pain became the fire that purified you. The pressure became the force that reshaped you. The storm became the furnace that transformed you into something rare, something powerful, something unshakable. You are being forged, shaped, refined. Diamonds do not form without pressure. Steel does not strengthen without fire, and destiny does not rise without separation. This pain is not punishment. It is preparation. Now you must build new rules for your life. You must place a gate around your peace. You must stop letting people enter your life without earning their place. You must stop over-explaining your worth to people who have no intention of valuing it. You must stop shrinking yourself so that others feel comfortable. You must stop carrying relationships on your back when you are the only one putting in the effort. Silence becomes your new power. Distance becomes your new protection. Boundaries become your new identity. You do not beg. You do not explain. You do not negotiate with disrespect. You protect your heart like it is sacred, because it is. You protect your peace like it is gold, because it is. You protect your future like it is fragile, because it is. You are stepping into a new identity, one built from discipline, clarity, and self-respect. You are becoming someone who sees through deception instantly. You are becoming someone who chooses peace instead of chaos. You are becoming someone who listens to intuition louder than promises. You are becoming someone who respects themselves enough to walk away from anything that threatens their mental or spiritual health. You are evolving into a version of yourself that your old environment could not contain. They thought your silence meant defeat. They thought your distance meant weakness. They thought your heartbreak meant you would never rise again. But they were wrong, because what they broke in you did not end you, it rebuilt you. What they tried to bury became the soil that fed your transformation. What they meant for damage became the fuel of your destiny. Your rise is inevitable. Your elevation is set. Your comeback will be a prophecy unfolding. You will rise with so much purpose that the very people who doubted you will be forced to watch your victory in silence. Your success will be the answer to every insult. Your peace will be the answer to every betrayal. Your growth will be the answer to every undermining whisper they said behind your back. And the irony is that the same people who dismissed you will one day wish they had treated you better, because nothing haunts a person more than realizing they lost access to someone chosen by destiny. They thought they wounded you, but they awakened a warrior. They thought they dimmed your light, but they ignited your fire. They thought they slowed you down, but they pushed you into God's timing. The separation was not the end. It was the beginning of your rise. There is a point in every transformation where you stop mourning what left and start understanding why it had to leave. That point is where you now stand. The ground beneath you feels unfamiliar because you are no longer walking as the person who suffered, begged, questioned, or doubted. You are walking as the person who survived. You are walking as the person who God protected. You are walking as the person who was chosen long before the betrayal ever reached you. God removed them from your life because He heard conversations you did not, and now He is preparing you for rooms where their presence would have poisoned your purpose. The wound no longer controls you, but its memory teaches you. It reminds you of how deeply you cared for people who never cared the same. It reminds you of how you kept giving while they kept taking. It reminds you of how you believed their words even when their actions exposed their truth. They betrayed your kindness with entitlement. They betrayed your loyalty with manipulation. They betrayed your heart with indifference. And even after everything you endured, your soul still tried to justify their behavior. That is how much you loved. That is how much you hoped. That is how much you believed people could change. But what they did to you was not a misunderstanding. It was a revelation. They showed you exactly who they were. They showed you the limits of their character. They showed you the truth behind their intention. They showed you the weakness behind their arrogance. And every time you tried to carry the relationship on your back, they added more weight until your spirit could no longer bear it. They did not leave because you were unworthy. They left because your growth exposed their stagnation. They left because your spirit outgrew the space they were willing to hold. They left because they could not manipulate the version of you that God was building. The internal damage shaped you more than you admit. You felt yourself shrinking to make others comfortable. You felt yourself hiding your greatness so they would not feel threatened. You felt yourself silencing your dreams so they would not feel insecure. You felt yourself sacrificing your peace to keep the connection alive. And when it finally ended, you blamed yourself for not being enough. Not realizing that you're not enough was actually too much for people operating on empty souls. The truth flipped when you understood that their absence became your freedom. You realized the only thing you lost was the weight that kept you from rising. You realized the pain was the doorway to destiny. You realized the heartbreak was a divine realignment. You realized God did not take them away to punish you. He took them away to protect you. The divine reveal is simple. What was removed was never meant to remain. What was exposed was never meant to be trusted. What was broken was never meant to be rebuilt. God heard conversations that would have shattered your peace. God saw actions that would have destroyed your future. God witnessed intentions that would have derailed your purpose, and He removed them before you even understood why. Pain became the fire that cleansed your spirit. The storm became the hammer that forged your strength. The pressure became the force that rebuilt your confidence. You walked through the flames that were designed to purify, not burn. You endured a season where everything felt heavy, but that was the weight of transformation. You survived nights where your heart felt too loud, but that was the echo of rebirth. You faced the darkness of abandonment, but that was where your new identity was formed. Now you must create new laws for your existence. You do not entertain people who bring confusion. You do not tolerate energy that drains your spirit. You do not chase anyone who chooses to walk away. You do not explain your worth to those who refuse to see it. You do not bleed for people who never offered a single bandage. Your silence becomes a barrier. Your standards become a shield. Your growth becomes a filter. Those who deserve you will rise to meet you. Those who do not will fall away naturally. You are stepping into an identity forged in storms and shaped by divine timing. You are becoming someone who sees truth instantly. You are becoming someone who moves with purpose instead of desperation. You are becoming someone who trusts God's timing more than your own desires. You are becoming someone who no longer questions why people leave, because you trust that God removes what your future cannot carry. You are not broken. You are not weak. They did not destroy you. They awakened you. This pain is not punishment. It is preparation. You are being prepared for a future that demands strength, clarity, discipline, and spiritual authority. You are being shaped for opportunities that cannot coexist with disloyal people. You are being refined for blessings that require a purified heart. You are being elevated to a level where your past connections cannot follow. Your rise will not be subtle. It will be seismic. It will be the kind of elevation that silences every whisper spoken against you. It will be the kind of success that exposes the poverty of their intentions. It will be the kind of growth that forces them to confront the truth. Losing you was the greatest consequence they will ever face, because nothing haunts a guilty soul more than watching someone they underestimated become someone they can never reach again. Your comeback is already unfolding. It is in your discipline, your silence, your strength, your clarity. It is in the way you walk now, the way you think now, the way you protect yourself now. You are rising into a destiny that was waiting for you to release the hands that were holding you back. And when God lifts you, there is not a single person who can pull you down. Your story is not over. Your rise has just begun, and the world is not ready for the version of you that is emerging from the fire. Rise.